The traditional way of looking at sustainability issues is in the form of a triangle: social, ecological, and economics. And we permanently try to reconcile the three. But this is misleading because the monetary system is missing. When money is factored in, sustainability is rather like a funnel from above, with the financial system at its core. What we have traditionally done is to redistribute money from the economic value chain towards social and ecological issues through taxes and fees or through donations like charity and philanthropy. Research, however, shows that 4 to 5 trillion US dollar per year would be necessary to really finance our future. The elephant is kind of in the living room, but nobody talks about it. The money generated through the traditional redistribution mechanism is roughly 500 billion US dollar, which is 8 to 10 times less than what's necessary. The dilemma is withdrawing 5 trillion US dollar from the economy, even in a gradual manner, would lead to a global recession. We're mentally trapped in the idea that there can be only one monetary system providing a single specific form of liquidity for all purposes, assuming the allocative distribution through the monetary monoculture is most efficient and effective. But this is wrong. What's required is additional liquidity at high scale and full speed, targeted towards future societal and ecological projects in an intelligent manner and differently than what has been done in the past. So we need not less financialization, but more, much more. However, in different, more decentralized ways, using different technologies, operating through fundamentally new monetary channels to support this agenda. There is a subtle but distinctive difference between redistributing money, like in an end-of-pipe strategy, and identifying a pre-distributing mechanism that ensures a living from social security to education, to minimum wages, to pension, to access to healthcare and environmental protection before we start the competitive game between Mr. Joe and Mr. Young, between labor and capital, between corporates around the world, between this and the next generation, and between mankind and nature. But what if we generated the funds we need globally in a different way? We propose a complementary optional parallel currency which can generate the required purchasing power to outline in an age of real prosperity, operating through a distributive ledger technology and using different channels than the one we're used to. And this could be done top-down, like a form of green quantitative easing, or bottom-up, like a regional currency system. This procedure would reduce the negative impact of shadow banking and the black market economy with regard to the stability and the resilience of the international trading and payment system. It would reverse pricing away from disaster management, the anthropic sector, and negative externalities towards a greener, fairer, and more sustainable future. And through a proxy mechanism, it would steer labor away from the unregulated and risky shadow and black markets towards more stable and forward-looking green jobs. And finally, as a complementary system operating in parallel and anti-cyclically to the given one, it would make monetary policy and regulation more sound, transparent, and resilient. In short, it would generate a Pareto superior equilibrium, or in other words, it would simply provide the preconditions for a better world. The graph describes a bigger picture of this mechanism from a systemic view. The global GDP with the large gray arrow contains an anthropic sector which reflects costs of damage control generated because of the way we run our economy. Basically, global warming, unwanted migration, air pollution, among others. The dark box on one side represents the shadow economy, which feeds and stabilizes the GDP. Without the shadow economy, a large proportion of the GDP would be missing, and the global economy would collapse. The thin dotted arrow flowing from the GDP reflects the redistributive co-financing of global commons through taxes, fees, and reinvestments. While it amounts to 0.5 to 2% of GDP, this sum is 8 to 10 times too low to properly finance the SDGs. The big green arrow at the top represents additional liquidity finance the SDGs injected into the system through a pre-distributive mechanism. The effect of having properly financed common goods will cause positive effects on the conventional global GDP represented by the green arrow pointing left. These positive effects include inverse pricing, because it's anti-inflationary, reverse troughing, because employment will mitigate from the shadow to the conventional to the green economic sector, generating green jobs and reducing the entropic sector, operating anti-cyclically to the conventional economy. Altogether, this mechanism pulls the overall economy into a more sustainable future.